Shalom, y'all. What's going on? Today's Sunday. In the process of trying to figure out what I'm gonna do during the week, if I should go to the doctor or something like that, whatever the case. But in the meantime, I do want to read the dietary laws or the food laws that the Creator made vows with, the things that we can eat and cannot eat. Rather, the things that we can eat that He has vows with in creation, so that evil energies and things like that don't get inside of our bag and take our bag over. This is how we keep ourselves clean and keep our energy clean and don't have two energies and two thoughts within our mind and things like that. Uh, Eliminates confusion. It keeps things clear. Things like that. Um, so let's just go straight into it, and then we'll edify as we go. Um, it says Devarim chapter 14. Now, there's also in Vayikra or Leviticus chapter 11, but people love to say, oh, that's the Levitical law. We don't do the Levitical law, that's for the Levites. But it's also in Devarim or Deuteronomy chapter 14, so we'll go through this one, since people love to have that cliche. So verse 1 says this: You are the children of Yahweh Elohim. You must not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. All right, now, just keep it simple. You must not cut yourselves or make any baldness between your eyes for what? For the dead. All right, so you're doing it for a ritual or something like that. Cutting yourself could be to save yourself. Like you need to cut yourself to get a venomous poison out, or cut yourself because something got under your skin or something like that, or whatever the reason you need to cut yourself for. It could be a special case. The same with the baldness between your eyes. If you are a unibrow, you're not supposed to cut your eyebrows in the middle. But if you have like a bump or sore or cut or something like that in the middle in between your eyes, you want to get that hair off, so you know it keeps the dirt out, less dirt and things like that. And you might want to put ointments and creams on the cut, bandage it up, things like that. The same thing with your hair. If you have leprosy or sores and stuff like that in your head, wingworms or whatever the case, you want to cut all your hair off and wash your hair and keep your hair clean and tied up and stuff like that, and keep the ointments and stuff on there until your hair is healed. Then you can grow your hair back. The same with women. If you got long hair, you got sores in your, yeah, same stuff. So it's special cases with your beard, all of that stuff where hair is. There's special cases. So you just don't cut or cut the hair off your head or make cuttings in your flesh just randomly for dead reasons, religious dead reasons. All right, so it's just letting you know off top, going in, just don't do stuff to do it, just to do it. All right, verse 2: For you are an holy people, a set apart, pure, undefiled people to Yahweh Elohim, and Yahweh has chosen you to be a peculiar people to himself above all the nations that are on the earth. So he chose us to be this special nation, to be the delivery men, to be the silver and gold of the planet. Okay, he wanted us to be the lights of the planet, the candles. You are the candles that I'm going to light for the world to get light. You're a peculiar people. You're not like everybody else. People will come to you to get light. So that's the first thing you must notice is before we even get into the food laws. Okay, and if people want to, convert into the Torah or serve the Most High Creator, it's the same one that sent his son to be crucified. There's no new law, okay? You know what I'm saying? When they were in Israel, these are the things that they ate. It was no American law. It was no. So don't make stuff up. Don't lean on your own understanding with this. Okay? There was no such thing as you, America, or anything that we understood. This is our own law, our own culture, and this is what we operated in. It was no such thing to eat anything unclean. So it was not a such thing to get pork in the market or shrimp, and you could not get that stuff in the market. When you went fishing, you could not grab anything out of the waters except what had fins and scales, stuff like that. So no one already going in, this is what they were raised in. So it was not a question. So you didn't really see them talking about stuff like this. But when it had to be reinitialized, the Torah had to be reinitialized after the Noahide laws when they went into captivity in Mitzrayim or Egypt, They needed a reintroduction of the Torah, the instructions. So that's why it's coming out again. But after that, so on and so forth, there was no need to really talk about it because it's just second nature. You're not selling anything in the markets or whatever the case, hunting or whatever for things that are not kosher or not clean, or kashar, as I say. So again, already, you're a peculiar people. You're the candles. You're my candle lights and stuff like that of the world, so people can get light above all the nations. You're the ones that all the nations will come to get light, to get heat, to get warmth, to get out of the darkness. It's a great responsibility. Verse 3, you must not eat any abominable thing. All right. Abomination is something that is detestable, something that you just hate, or whatever the case. What could be something abominable? Like you got molded up spaghetti in the fridge, and you got the top on it, but it was in there for like about 3 months. You just never got to it because you ain't had time. Finally, you get to it. It got green moldy stuff. It's all saucy, juicy. It's moving in the pot all stupid when you lean it and stuff. And then you supposed to dump it in a trash bag, but you like normally it'd be easy for you to dump something in the trash bag because there's this big huge hole, but because this stuff is so stinky and so nasty, you missing a trash can all of a sudden. Oh my god, the juice got on your toes, you twiggled your toes, the juice hit your toes, you twiggled it by accident, now it just rubbed between your toes and like lotion, so now you like, oh my god, drop the pot, it's scattered everywhere, you ran to the bathroom, stuff on the walls, you trying to wash your toes, your clothes, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like, what the fuck? The most nastiest, stinky worms coming out the bag type shit. You got to take the trash out. Worms creeping through the bag when it pop. Oh my God, worms coming out. The juice from the bag with the worms is like drizzling on your toes and you twiggling it a little bit, got on your sandals. You know what I'm saying? So it's like stuff like that, and that's what abomination is. The stinkiest, worst, nastiest looking type stuff you've seen, like gore and stuff like that, gory looking stuff. Like, yeah, that's nasty, boy. Like, just looking at that, it's nasty, real gory looking. So when you eat things that are abominable, it brings about gory spiritual energy to you. You see nasty, gory looking things that your eyes not supposed to look at, that's deformed and shit like that. So that's how people end up making shit like that, horror movies and shit, because they're gory. They're eating things that are abominable, and the things that they see, it puts them in that world, and so they paint it for you to see type shit. So again, verse 3, you must not eat any abominable thing, because that's what you're going to get, gore. Verse 4, these are the beasts which you must eat, or which you can eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat. Okay, the hart and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the pegang, English is crazy, and the wild ox, and the camois. So basically it's just giving you it's not going to name every animal, but it gave you a few names, right? But what do all of these animals have in common, which is in verse 6? In every beast that parts the hoof and cleaves the cleft into 2 claws. All right, so what is it saying here? It's the English be just saying any fucking thing, right? Like, oh, cleaves the cleft. Man, shut the hell up. Cleaves the cleft. Just tell them how it is. Any and every beast that parts the hoof is cloven footed, right? And cleaves, so and, not or. It parts the hoof and it does also, it eats, it eats and chews the cud. Okay, it chews the cud, meaning it eats, they got human looking teeth, and it chews its food like humans do, okay? And it parts the hoof. It can't rip at flesh like a beast, like a wild beast or something like that, a lion, tiger. It don't rip at flesh and scoff shit down like dogs. They don't chew, they scoff. You know what I'm saying? You would give a dog some tasty, seasoned up meat or something like that that you took your time, and they don't sit there and chew, be like, I love the flavor of this. It's nice and tasty. They don't savor it. They don't chew it. They just scoff it down, give you like 2 bites and scoff it down. And then they'll lick their lips and stuff, lick like they really tasted it, like they really savored it or something. But then they, like about 5 minutes later, they'll be like, damn, that tastes kind of good. Dogs realize after the math that something tastes good because they just so worried about scoffing it down or breaking something with their teeth and chewing it, ripping at it. So yeah, even cats rip at meat and flesh, things that eat raw flesh and blood and shit like that. They don't chew. So the reason that these animals chew is because sorry, not the reason that these animals chew, but these animals chew, which lets you know that they eat grass. They can only eat grass or vegetation. They can't rip at flesh, so they can't kill you in the way that beasts do, like come and just bite you and rip your arm off. Type, you're scared to death. You'll run from a dog, or you'll run from a chicken if it's attacking you, but you won't run from a duck, cause what the duck gonna do? You know, so stuff like that. So in every beast that parts the hoof and has teeth like a human and chews, okay? It eats grass. That shall you eat. So Deuteronomy says it a little funny here, but if you go to Leviticus chapter 11, it should be a little bit more simply put. All right, verse 7. Nevertheless, these you shall eat of them that choose the cud, or of them that divides the hoof, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camel and the hare and the coney. Sorry, let me go back. My eyes, give me a second. Verse 7, nevertheless, these you shall not eat, okay, of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camel and the hare and the coney, for they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore, they are unclean to you. So that's why I said they must chew the cud, eat vegetation, and be cloven-footed. All right? If you have a pig is cloven-footed. Okay, but it does not chew the cud only. It will eat anything. They'll eat you, vegetation, rocks. They'll eat anything if you set it in front of them. A cow won't, or a goat won't, So those animals that you look at that can't do these things, it's not possible for them to do these things because the way their teeth are and they're cloven-footed. Pigs, they have fangs and stuff, so they can break shit. Like, they're different. So you must notice that. So if there's a beast out there that's not mentioned here in the Torah, and that's because there are lots of beasts, like a bison or something like that, you must observe the beast. Okay, I see that it is cloven-footed. Regardless, it's cloven-footed, and it chews grass. It eats grass and its teeth is like human teeth. It doesn't have fangs. It's like human teeth, so it eats grass. Okay, I can eat that. Or that's the case. So it's letting you know here that these are the beasts or the cattle that has a vow with the Most High that are considered clean-spirited animals. Okay, so when you eat that, your spirit remains clean. All right. Verse 8. And the swine, which is pork, because it divides the hoof, yet chews not the cud. It is unclean to you. You must not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. Okay. Now, there are special cases if dead carcass, like you just chilling or whatever, a group of crazy ass men, or you in America and somebody slipped some shit in your food or something like that, or they had some kind of something that's made out of pigs and you didn't know. Yeah, that's understandable. That's a special case, but willy-nilly of your own free will or, your own choice, don't just go over there eating pork or grabbing up, dead pig skins and this is talking about dead. Carcass is a dead pig. But if you have a pig that's alive, okay, it can be your friend. You could even have it as a pet and things like that. It has its different purposes, but you can't eat it, And if it dies, you need somebody to handle it. If it dies, so whatever the case. But yes, pigs, you can be friends with them and touch them and stuff like that when they're alive. Nothing wrong with them. Verse 9. These you shall eat, or these you may eat of all that are in the waters, or must eat. The shall is funny. These you can eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales you may eat. I'll put it like that. You may eat. All right, verse 9. Again, these you may eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales may you eat. So, fins and scales. Now, the word here in Hebrew, dang, I got the. Okay, so forget it. I was going to go to the interlinear, but I don't have. Dang, actually, I don't have my Eastwood on this one. I had to pay for that. That's on my other phone. Anyway, if I had the Eastwood on this one, I could go into the Strong's Concordance on you, so you can look at fins and scales, and understand that the word for fins and scales It's not just fins or scales. It's fins and scales, and people like to debate. Well, a shrimp has scales and it has fins. No, it's not talking about that. Fins and scales is interpreted in the Hebrew as a coat of mail, many different chain links together as one coat. So a coat of mail, when you go to war, you know what that looks like. Many different chain links that comes together, combined together to make one coat of mail or whatever the case. So that's what is understood with the fins and scales. Many different scale pieces to come together to be one scaly fish, like a coat of mail. So that's what they're trying to help you understand what the interpretation of scales mean, because it also has an S there, but what are you trying to really say? So people love to try to say shrimp. No, but when you go into Hebrew, it helps you clearly understand as like to a coat of mail. Verse 10. And whatsoever has not fin or have not fins and scales, you may not eat. It is unclean to you. So if you had a shark or some kind of fish that didn't have fins and scales, or whatever the case, like people like say like small fish like tuna. Some tuna fish have scales, but it could be so small that you can't see. That still counts. No matter how small the scales are or big, you can see them, not see them. If you scrape that fish and scales come off that thing right out the waters, then it has scales, and fins. So things like catfish, no, and sharks, no. But it also helps you understand, too, that fishes in the water or things in the water that will eat you cannot eat. You have certain fish that have fins and scales that can be dangerous to you. Like there's certain tropical fish. Like it's the specific pink fish that's in the Philippines when you go fishing. It's small, but when you get it, you got to be careful, because even though it has fins and scales and it's pink and it's eatable, it has a bone underneath it. So when it's in the waters and it is under threat, this bone comes out. And this bone is like a tooth, like a very sharp tooth. Like, damn, that shit's sharp as shit. It's like a tooth or something, a fang. So it's like, damn. Yeah, you got to be careful with these pink fish. They tropical, but you can eat them because it has fins and scales, but they dangerous. So yeah, even though some fish could be dangerous, they still could be eatable because they have fins and scales. That's all you're looking at. Fins and scales. Now, some fish you might have to know how to cut certain poisonous parts off and things like that. But the point is still, regardless of what kind of fish it is and what knowledge you need to know about it being poisonous or not, what you can eat of it or not, as long as it has fins and scales, it's a fish, not a shrimp, not a crab that does not have fins. It just has claws. It's never said shellfish, as we understand that. Shellfish, oysters, clams, shrimp. Shrimp, crabs, lobsters. These are shellfish, shelled sea creatures. But but understanding this can be cringy information because your whole body is just craving these types of foods, and this is a custom of what you're used to eating. But if you love the Most High and you love the Most High Creator, you know what I'm trying to say. If you love the Most High, I'm under attack. Forgive me. If you love the Most High Creator, you will find it within yourself to obey what He says rather than to give over to the cringe and fight against Him. But this is hard stuff because the energies in the foods fight against you, because these evil spirits, they live in you. They might lay dormant, but they live in you when you eat these things, and they move you and stuff, and they want to have a home. Unclean spirits and evil spirits and stuff like that. They want you as their home. So they'll fight you and they'll bubble your stomach up, and you'll start cringing, your stomach will start burning, and you'll start saying shit. You'll say things that you never thought you would say to a person because you liked them at first, but when they said this, you don't like them, all of a sudden it became the worst enemy in the planet because they said something like this. But it's all about you and your desire. Or do you live by the cravings of your flesh? If you live by the cravings of your flesh, you're not going to kick it. You're going to be like, man, F that, man. I'm going to eat me some pork this, some bacon. You're not going to even think and sit back and be like, dang, is there a substitute? You're not going to think like that. You're going to think like, nah, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. So what you did was attack the Most High, because I'm just reading it to you. So you attacking the Most High saying, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. You might as well say that to Him. Speak up. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I don't care, and then turn around and call yourself still being a man or woman of God. You can't say that, because this is the same God. It's the same God. There's no new God, okay? So that's for Christians to understand. Muslims, they don't follow the Torah, so I'm not talking to them. They eat things like camel. As it say clearly, you can't eat a camel. So and they eat shellfish and stuff too. They eat chicken. Even chicken you can't eat, which is hard as shit to. That's the hardest shit to hear. That was the hardest for me to take when I heard it. But I shook the craving hard as shit. Like, nah, fuck that. What else? What else can we eat? So I went into the Torah to find out what other kind of birds we can eat. And when I start working, I start ordering stuff online that I can eat that is clean birds to eat. Like what? All right, I'm gonna eat some duck, and then I'm gonna eat duck eggs. So I fought against it. But now that I'm homeless, I just don't eat bird meat because I'm poor. I eat something that's kosher that I can eat. So I just like kick my delicacies that I love to eat that was kosher and just miss it. I'm just gonna longing for these things and I miss it. But I don't let it overtake me, so I just still eat what's clean. If I had money, I would order me some duck, had it shipped right to the house, or order me some quail. Yeah, I'm gonna eat me some quail, shorty, like about 4 of them. Give me like 4 quails with some rice on the side. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, I can't do it. And I would refuse to eat chicken, you know, because the Most High said you can't eat it, you know. And like I said, I read the Hebrew, so I'll be going into this in the Hebrew. I'm just doing it, like giving you a scruffy version in the English right now. So verse 11. All right, so again, verse 10. And whatsoever and whatsoever have not fins and scales, you may not eat. It is unclean to you. Of all clean birds you shall eat. All right, what are all clean birds? But these are they of which you shall not eat. Okay, so first off, it's tell you of all clean birds you can eat. So it must be some missing pieces here where maybe there's a list of clean birds you can eat, but then here it gives you the list of birds you cannot eat. But more so in the Hebrew is not necessarily telling you the actual birds themselves. That's what I figured. That's what I noticed through a brother named Akdeen. Brother Dean. Akdeen, he was like, it's not actually naming the bird per se when you go into the Hebrew. It's naming the characteristics of these types of birds that you're supposed to look at to know what birds not to eat. So because we don't have the list of birds to eat, we can go through the list of birds, the characteristics of the birds we can't eat, and then find out that way what birds we can eat. So it's not technically saying the name of the bird. So if I say verse 12, but these are they of which you must not eat: the eagle, the ostrich, and the osprey, the gled, and the kite, and the vulture, and every raven after its kind, and the owl, the nighthawk, the cuckoo. The cuckoo is the chicken, okay? If you look that up, it will have many different types of information on the cuckoo. But the cuckoo is also another name for chicken. But it could be cuckoo with 2 O's and not an O and a W. It could be spelled a little different. There's also an Instagram page called, I think, a cuckoo or something. I forgot. It's an Instagram page that sells chicken, but it's called cuckoo instead of chicken. All right? But it's letting you know that cuckoo is another name or the original name for the chicken. They just changed it to chicken so people wouldn't understand that the Bible was trying to tell them you can't eat chicken. And the hawk after its kind, and the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gyre eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and so on and so forth. Now, if you go into the Hebrew like I did and go through every name, like the stork and the hammer, you look up these names, it will give you the characteristics and things like that of these birds, and you can make a list out of the characteristics. I think I made a list before. I gotta find it. It might be on my YouTube or something like that. I did do or it might be on my Facebook. I did do a video on the dietary laws before. I gotta find it, and I went into detail with the Hebrew. But yeah, the lapwing and the bat and so on and so forth. And every creeping thing that flies is unclean to you. They shall not be eaten. But of all clean fowls you may eat. So it's just giving you specifics. So what you should do is just focus on, well, like I said, with the birds, because it's not giving you what's clean to eat. Focus on the Hebrew words for these birds and write down the characteristics of these birds, and you have a list. And then you can identify what birds you can eat. But another way to identify which birds you can eat, a better way is to just go knowing the Torah. For example, when they went in the wilderness, they ate quail. Okay, because the quail washed up on the sea and this, that, and the third because they was tired of eating manna. So they ate quail. And if you didn't know what quail was, you would think quail was fish because they washed up. They must have ate fish. You never thought to look at quail as a bird unless you knew quail was a bird. But quail are birds, small, small little birds, or whatever the case. And they ate quail, you know. And they ate quail so much they got tired of it, like eating chicken so much you got tired of it. Also, pigeon, believe it or not. Why? Because pigeon is a bird that you can put on the altar. So when a woman if she gives childbirth, she has to get a pigeon if she's poor, or get a dove, a turtle dove as they call it, a dove if she has money, and she goes to the altar and they sacrifice that pigeon or that dove on the altar in place of the original, just her being in a woman covering for Eve. Like, just being a woman, you have to cover for the transgression of the fall of Eve, which can be not fair, but it's just something that you have to do. You have to cover for the sin of childbirth and pain and suffering and stuff like that. Give me a second. Anyway, you have to cover for that. So you covering for that with a pigeon or a dove lets you know that on the altar are only foods you can eat. So you can never sacrifice or cook anything on the altar of the Most High that you cannot eat. So that's something that you need to know. So yeah, you see a pigeon laying around, walking around, you can eat that. You see a dove, you can eat the dove. You see a duck, you can eat a duck. And so the characteristics of a pigeon and a dove and a duck and a quail, you must look at the characteristics of these types of birds, and you can connect dots or whatever. But because we don't have an exhaustive list, because there are a lot of types of birds and species of birds, I don't have an exhaustive list because it don't say anything about a blue jay, a cardinal. It don't say anything about those types of birds. So we don't want to try to be exhaustive with the list. We just know that these birds are just basically giving us the characteristics in the Hebrew of the type of birds we cannot eat. All right. All right, verse 21. You shall not eat of anything that dies of itself. You shall give it to the stranger that is in your gates, that he may eat of it, or you may sell it to an alien. For you are an holy people to Yahweh Elohim. You shall not seethe a kid in its mother's milk. All right, so before we go on, we're going to go and cover some things that I didn't cover in some other videos. We're going to gym you at the same time. So I'm going to gym you and I'm going to explain. So you shall not eat of anything that dies of itself. You shall give it to the stranger that is in your gates, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to an alien. So a stranger is someone that kind of knows of the Torah or whatever the case, and they could be not of your blood, okay? Because the Torah is talking to us of the blood. So if you have a stranger within your gates that is not of the blood of Israel, you could give it to them. It's kosher. It's clean. It's a clean animal to eat, but it died of itself. So you can give it to them, because they're not of the DNA of Israel. They don't have to hold the weight that we have to hold of the world. They don't have to worry about keeping their light clean and their candles clean. They don't got to worry about having enough oil in there. They don't got to worry about staying pure as we do. So you can give this to them because they're not of the DNA. Or you may sell it to an alien. Now, alien is like a foreigner, or a stranger. Not really a stranger. Alien is just like a foreigner or somebody that don't know of the Torah and is not trying to know of the Torah. They came across them some kind of way. They don't give a fuck about the Torah. They don't know shit about the Torah. They are completely alien. Like, yeah, you can keep this thing. Oh, yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, keep it pushing. Aliens would be people like of different cultures we see today. Like, sorry, but like Japanese, Chinese, and Filipinos, and people like them that eat whatever the fuck. They don't have a culture like we do. They have Buddhism and Shinto and things like that. They have different types of religions. They know nothing of the Torah. They have their own religion or whatever. So they're alien to us, right? So you can give it to them, because they're not trying to learn the Torah at all. They just pass by, they pick this up. Hey, you can have this. I'll sell it to you for blah, blah, blah. or yeah, you can take it, whatever you want to do, you know. But you are a pure people. You are clean. Okay, you are undefiled. I set you apart from the world to be the candles and the candle lights of the world, and you have to stay pure in order to stay lit. For you are a holy, a pure people to Yahweh Elohim. You must not seethe. This is a new whole thought process. You must not seethe a kid in its mother's milk. Okay, if you don't know, just in case, a kid is a baby goat, and it says in his mother's milk. Okay, so it's not talking about a cheeseburger here for y'all. First off, a cheeseburger is not a kid, it's not a goat, you know, but also to keep it in the bracket of all kosher meats, it's talking about his own mother. It's a disrespect thing here. You are now boiling this baby kid in his own mother's milk, or whatever the case, and it's covering for Passover, like the feast that we hold. You know, you have to have a baby, a goat of the first year, or you can substitute for a kid of the first year if you don't have a goat. Things like that, substitute type stuff, but you're not allowed to cook it in its own mother's milk because it just came off the breast, a year old, you know? So it's still young. So you wouldn't do that, right? You're not supposed to do that. But if you had a cheeseburger or you had a cow and you cooked the cow and then you so happen to slap some cheese on it, it's not a kid. It's not a baby. You know, and you didn't cook it in his mother's milk. You know what I'm saying? Or did you? You know, it doesn't matter. You could have cooked it in his wife. You know, stuff like that. It's being specific here. So don't try to take a generalized situation in special cases and make it specific when you're not sure if that's the actual specific situation. It specifically says seethe. You shall not seethe, boil a baby goat, a kid, in his mother's milk. That's specific. So y'all need to stop speculating. Don't speculate outside of what the text say. If you have a Hebrew interpretation, put that Hebrew interpretation out, and then don't speculate outside of that Hebrew interpretation. Stay in the lines when you're coloring. Y'all got crayons and y'all be feeling some kind of way and be like, man, I'm going to color over here. You know what I'm saying? Color inside the lines. You know? If you was wrong, then you put it on copyright. I colored inside of the lines, Grandpa, but I didn't know that they lied to me. And then he can put it on them. He did his best to stay inside the lines, but you lied to him. So now, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. Y'all be doing the most. So anyway, off that, and it's just going on into other Torah laws. Let me see. Yeah, so Leviticus, or Vayikra chapter 11 also says it. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying to them. So this is what Yahweh said to Moshe and to Aaron. So not a person or this random person or evil spirit said to them. It's the Most High Creator said to them, and he changes not. We change and try to flip shit. You know what I'm saying? You be maximum carnal minded and you start flipping shit. Well, that's, you know, you try making shit up, leaning on your own understanding. But and Yahweh spoke to them, saying, speak to the children of Israel. All right? The reason that he had to relay a message through them was because in Exodus chapter 20, they didn't want to hear the voice of the Most High anymore because they were going to die from hearing his voice. So now he needs a mediator. So now he has to speak to Moshe and Aaron and tell them to tell the children of Israel, these are the beasts which you shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parts the hoof and is cloven footed and chews the cud among the beasts that shall you eat. So it's just being simple right here. Whatever parts the hoof, cloven footed, and whatever chews the cud, it has teeth and it chews like a human among the beasts. It eats vegetation. That's the cud, the vegetation. These shall you eat. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the coney, you know, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the hare, verse 7, and the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he chews not the cud. He is unclean to you. He'll eat whatever the fuck. Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you. If you have a special case, You will set yourself apart, wash yourself. You'll be unclean for 7 days, and then you'll come back into the camp. Special cases only. Something could have fell upon you. You could have fell upon it, walking somewhere, and you didn't know what the hell was going on. Oh my God, I fell on a bunch of dead pigs. How'd that happen? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just happened. So then you have a rule. You know what I'm saying? Special cases type stuff. Verse 9. These shall you eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall you eat. More specific. Fins and scales. We already went over that. Like a coat of mail. Fins and scales. Like a coat of mail when you go to war. Many small metal links that come together to be one coat. Verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales, in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you. They should be nasty, like moldy, rotten food that stinks so bad. And then, you put it in there, and then the bottom of the bag pop, juice dripping out, worms coming out at the same time. A little juice got between the big toe and the index toe, and you twiggled your toes 3 times and a half. So it just got real, it was wet. Then because you rubbed your toe 3 times, and that half a time made it a little dry, and it got sticky. So you try to move your toes apart, and it's like yapping apart, giving that yap feel, and it's all sticky. You know what I'm saying? You like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. So now you're trying to carry the trash to the trash can with your arm way apart, like you got, you know what I'm saying? Like you Mr. Incredible, or you Miss Incredible, or you Stretch Armstrong, or whoever with some stretching powers, and you want to reach your arm way across there, walking with your, looking real crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. The most nastiest thing. Food and stuff that stink, all that. The smell, the look, all that. Verse 12. Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination to you. All right. Same thing. It's nasty. One time they had, in the Philippines, they cooked like a puffer fish. Now, the puffer fish, already you can't eat that shit. Because if you had no tools or equipment, you catch a puffer fish, how the fuck you catch a puffer fish, number one? Number two, it's like, damn, you caught it, it's puffed up, it's looking all stupid, and then it's just there. It got like bony spikes. The spikes is like bones and shit coming out his body, all over his body. How the fuck you even gonna cut that shit, open it up, it's puffed the fuck up, and it's like, what the fuck? And then it's like stinking like a motherfucker. They cook that shit, it's jamming. They really tried to attempt to give me that. I said, that shit stinks so fucking bad, I'm not eating that. They literally gave me that, because it felt like, fuck, I'm not eating that. I eat the rice, but I ain't gonna eat no fucking puffer fish. That shit stink. I dumped it out, washed the cup out like about 8 times with soap and water. Still jamming and shit. The cup still jamming and shit. Damn. You know what I'm saying? That shit's jamming. Your body jamming. Your insides of your body jamming. That shit is jamming, shorty. What the fuck is going on? That shit was crazy. I'm like, yo, y'all is jamming. Y'all stink. So you know that the unclean smell of it gets in your body, and the unclean spirit of it, it's in your body moving, it's in your waters, it's in your mental, it's in your metaphysical, it's in your dream spaces, your brain spaces. You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to see? But only demonic, dark shit. So you're not supposed to eat shit that's abominable, because you're going to see demons and shit. You're not supposed to, don't be trying to see demons. It's like, eat what's clean, eat what's kosher, stay in a safe metaphysical place, and teleport the motherfuckers. Damn, on some Star Trek shit. I got you. Let me teleport you, but I ain't coming the fuck down there. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Stay in a safe place. Teleport the asses out. Stop trying to go down. I got you, shorty. I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna eat this. Now I'm down here running for my life like you and shit. Stay in a safe place. Tell somebody and get them teleported out. So stop doing that. Trying to ride and shit. All right, verse 13. So verse 13 told you, and these are they which you shall have an abomination among the fowls, the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. So it goes again, the eagle, the vulture, the osprey, things like that. And these give better specific characteristics, than verse 14 is more in order when you look at it and read it. So it's easier to make a list. Verse 21, yet these may you eat of every flying creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. So in Devarim 14, it didn't tell you which creeping thing. It didn't say what every flying creeping thing. It didn't go into that. It just told you you can't eat any thing that crawls upon its fours with with wing. It said you can't. But here it says these are the ones you can eat. So it's given a better specific in Vayikra chapter 11, which have legs above their feet to leap withal upon the earth. Verse 22. Even these of them you may eat: the locust, the bald locust, the beetle, and the grasshopper. I think red 40 in drinks is beetle, or it used to be beetle. Because I was like, what's red 40? Somebody said it's beetle. We eating beetles and shit? Beetle juice is beetle juice? I thought this was like a Fanta, strawberry flavored Fanta. It's beetle juice and shit. But it's clean, because beetle is clean. It's just people be painting shit. So yeah, you can eat a beetle. You can eat a locust. You can eat a bald locust. You can eat a grasshopper. Okay, these are kosher delicacies. But if you're not used to eating these things, it can be strange and it can be detestable to you, but it's not actually. Okay? But they gave you a list here of things like Yehukanan ben Zechariah HaKohen, as you call John the Baptist. Yehukanan, or Yachanan as some say, he ate locusts and honey. So why would a prophet of the Most High, who baptized the Savior, and saw heaven open up with him and stuff like that, you seeing heavenly holy things, your energy definitely clean. Your spirit is so clean, you seeing what the Savior seeing. This is my son in whom I'm well pleased. Damn, give me some more of them locusts and honey, shorty. Them locusts is definitely cracking my mind open. Let me get some more of them locusts. So that's what you're doing. That's what you're noticing. What he's eating is helping them see heaven. Them locusts and honey's good, shorty. Shit, give me some of that honey and them locusts. Throw it right on there. Verse 23. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you. So stick to what they just say you can eat, and everything else just leave it alone. And for these you shall be unclean. All right, sorry about that. My eyes. And for these you shall be unclean, the things that you can't eat. Whatsoever touches the carcass of them shall be unclean to the even. All right, so here it gives a specific what I was saying, depending on the special case. It says you can't touch the dead carcass of a swine, but for some reason you might have touched it or whatever the case, or you have no choice. You got to get it. For whatever, it died this way, that way, it ran up in your house, somebody did some shit, it landed on some of your property or some shit like that, ain't nobody else to get it, you got to get it, right? So, okay, you get it, but you will be unclean to the even. Wash yourself up real good with water. Decontaminate yourself in the ocean, or if you got a lake or something like that. Some big body of water with salt in it. Decontaminate, soak up in it, and then wash with fresh water, or whatever the case, or soap and fresh water if you got it. Wash up, da-da-da-da. Okay, and then by the time even comes, when the sun set, you'll be good. Now, if it happens in the night, wash yourself and all that stuff, and then when the sunrise, by the time the sunrise, you'll be clean. So depending on the situation, how it happens, day or night. And whosoever bears aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean till the even. So giving you more specifics there. The carcass of every beast which divides the hoof and is not cloven footed, nor chews the cud, are unclean to you. Everyone that touches them shall be unclean. Okay? And it goes on and on and on. So it's just telling you how to deal with dead carcasses. After that, if it gets upon you, gets on you and stuff like that. And now this verse 32, I'm gonna give you a gem and then I'm gonna cut it. This is the gem that I'm gonna give you. Verse 32. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, do fall, it shall be unclean. Sorry about that. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, do fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood or raiment or skin or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the even, so it shall be cleansed. All right, give me more detail. All right. Verse 33. And every earthen vessel. So there are two different types of vessels here, because it did say whatsoever vessel it be. So you can have a metal pot. You can decontaminate with like bleach and whatever the case and stuff. But if you have an earthen vessel, which is made out of clay, verse 33, and every earthen vessel whereinto any of them falls, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and you shall break it. All right, so to give you the gem, verse 32 and 33 together, I want to hone in on the word vessel, because the word vessel was mentioned twice in both these verses. So we want to go into that word vessel. Now, where do we live? We live in an earthen vessel. The deeper you go into earth, you get into metal, the metallic parts of it, or whatever the case. Whatever the case, we're in the earthen part where the dirt is. Satan is within the earth. He is a dead whatever the hell, the Satans that are, fell, the fallen powers, they've been imprisoned within the earth. And of course, they're rotting away in this, that, and the third. So it said, upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, does fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel. So it's letting you know, these things that are carcasses are unclean to you among all that creep. Whatsoever do touch them, when they be dead, shall be unclean until the even. All right. So this is the carcasses of the Satans that's in the earth. All right. But earth will die one day is what I'm trying to get at. All right. So in Bereshit or Genesis, it tells you, in the beginning, God said, let there be light. The earth was without form and void. Sorry. In the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and there was darkness upon the face of the deep, and God said, let there be light. Now, before it even said, let there be light, it said earth was without form and void. Earth was here before let there be light. So, okay, stuff was here before God said, let there be light. So it had to be that he used this Play-Doh before, So he had to melt it down, let there be light, heat it up, melt it down, this, that, and the third. So it's nothing new. He just reused this stuff. So if earth was here before let there be light, so will earth be here when the light goes off. And the reason is because something fell into this earthen vessel. What fell? That's what it said. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, does fall, fallen angels, fallen powers, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel. So if you fell in earth, or if you fell in another planet or another galaxy or cosmos, wherever you fell at, you are now decontaminating that place. But in earth, it's an earthen vessel. Verse 33, and every earthen vessel whereunto any of them falls, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean. So people are living in earth maximum carnal minded. Now venom death has to kill shit. And it's just unclean. Bloodshed everywhere. It's not even earth no more. It's the bloodshed. They call it earth, but I call it the bloodshed. The love dead. Calling for Judge Dredd. So it's like, you call it earth, but I call it the bloodshed, the love dead. So, and every earthen vessel whereunto any of them falls, whatsoever is in it, shall be unclean. To the point that it's an abomination. And here we are, men want to be pregnant. It's so fucking unclean. Men want to be fucking pregnant. That's abomination. That's that liquid, that's the maggots coming out the bottom of the bag that got punctured. Oh my God. The juice twinkle between your toes 3.5 times and start yapping on your toes and shit. Oh my God. The yap is fucking you up. The yap between the toes when you're trying to part it and shit is fucking you up because you had socks on and you can't quite get to it. And you just yapping through the socks and it's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but because it was raining outside, you was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there. You ran through the rain, stepped in a puddle on purpose because your shit was yapping. Threw it in the trash, came back, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. Took your socks off, you all that, ran straight to the, wash yourself up, then you mopped. You wash your toes off, then it mopped. Then you had to do a yamp check. Let me do a yamp check. I'll make sure my shit not yamping between my toes. So then you shall break it. So earth will be destroyed. That's why I said, hell shall give up the dead that's in it, and the ocean shall give up the dead that's in it, and death will give up the dead that's in it. And hell and death will be thrown into the lake of fire. So earth will be broken, and the blood shall come upon itself. Because when you have something abominable or someone living an abominable life, they must be killed in the way of bloodshed, that blood shall be upon them. So earth is a vessel. You must break it. And when you break it, what's in it will come out of it, magma lava, and its blood shall be upon itself, and then it will petrify over like a dead body. It will freeze. You know what I'm saying? No, it will be lifeless. And then it stiffens up and shit. You can't, you know what I'm saying? It will petrify and go back to earth was without form and void, and darkness is upon the face of the deep. And the light that let there be light was there will go back in the house. They will stop paying the light bill. So this is a gem for you to understand the end of the earth, to let you know that, yeah, it's so fucked up. Horror movies all over the place. Hollywood is so fucked up. Nothing but horror movies and scary shit. You know what I'm saying? They keep on calling Mila Jovovich for more fucking Resident Evil shit. They keep calling her for Resident Evil shit. But the people that's sitting around her making this Resident Evil ass movies all the fucking time keep fucking sitting down and shit. Why the fuck these niggas keep sitting down making these crazy ass movies? They can't see heaven. You won't move the fuck over to let people bring in and give them hope. Look, man, here goes some light right here. Give them some fucking light, some life. Y'all keep on bringing Mila Jovovich and some Resident Evil shit like you trying to fucking kill her. Kill your fucking self. If this all you see, you need to fucking die. Damn. Stop showing us this shit. You gay ass. Nobody want to keep seeing Resident fucking Evil. So it's like, yo, we need to break this shit, because these motherfuckers are so unclean, so fucking abominable and shit like that, talking about pregnant man emoji and shit. Break this shit. You got to kill Earth and let the magma lava come out of it and let it freeze over. Motherfuckers going to be trying to grow food and shit. Ain't shit going to grow. Lights cut off. You going to die from all that. You just need to get rid of it. And that's what's going to happen in the end of this matter. You know, but I just had to give you that gem to help you understand. And I don't think there's anybody out there that's really like talking about this like this or revealed this to you like this. But I had to reveal this to you so you can know, like, another reason why I'm even here. To give a report. That's why I had to live my human life. I had to be eyes closed. I had to forget who I was naturally. And I had to live like a human and give a report. Can a man live here anymore? No, a regular old man that's supposed to be living on this planet. Can they live here anymore? Fucking no. Hell no. It's not livable. It's not livable. That's like you put a fish in a fish tank, right? And then you take one of the fish that's in the fish tank and then you kill it right in front of the fish tank. It's flopping and everything. You kill it right in front of the fish tank. You chop it, this, that, and the third, scale it, skin it and shit. Then cook it, bring it back out in front of the fish tank, open it up and shit. Imagine what that looks like to the fish. So it's like you a person. Somebody pull you out of the rest of the people, murder the person in front of you. You can kind of bear that because you're used to seeing death. But then cook your ass, start frying your ass up and shit like that, taking bites of your... What the fuck? You start getting fucked up. You know, served you with a side of fries and some ketchup and shit. What the fuck going on? Fucking you up. Seeing that shit in front of your face. And then you know you next and shit. They can start licking his fingers and shit. So it's like, it fucks you up. It fucks your mental up. That's what it's like, man. So you got to destroy this whole thing. Men talking about they want to be pregnant. That's what it sounds like to a man. You talking about some, yeah, pregnant man. What that sound like to me is like some cannibal just taking, you know what I'm saying? Taking a person and chopping them up, frying his dick up in the pot and shit, and I'm looking at it and shit. Or some Hannibal Lecter shit. Some nasty ass shit to look at. You eating humans and shit. But you a human. Like the fuck? It fucks your head up. And then it traumatizes you. And, you know what I'm saying? It's not livable. Nothing is natural anymore. Nothing is traditional. Definitely shit ain't traditional anymore. I want a traditional marriage. Niggas out here talking about some pregnant man. Little Nas Extra had a fake ass baby shower. These niggas fucked up in the head. You talking about you still want a traditional. You know what I'm saying? Shit ain't traditional. Get with somebody that you can make good plans with together and be a good ass team. You know what I'm saying? He might be the breadwinner, or you might be the breadwinner, or y'all could be breadwinners together, whatever the fuck going on. Long as y'all morally compatible enough to work together. We can't be traditional, but we can work the fucking together. At least we can be together physically and be intimate together physically. But our operations of maintaining ourselves and taking care of ourselves, we have to We have to shake it up a little bit here and there. Got to switch roles here and there. Y'all got to play part A. You got to play part. You got to do. You know what I'm saying? We might have to do different roles here and there. You got to be the. You know what I'm saying? You got to compromise a lot more. You know, because the way the world is. So women need to get that in their head. Stop looking for traditional shit if the world is not traditional. You're the breadwinners. You can go take your fucking clothes off on OnlyFans and make way more money in one fucking day than a man make in a month or 2 months or even a year. He grinding and dying for it. So understand, there's nothing traditional out here. It just sound good to have a traditional man, but you ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it used to be. But the fact that you have a traditional hearted man could serve good when you trying to make plans and compromise together. Because you have a man with a traditional heart, but we in a fucking behind enemy zones in a war zone or some fucked up ass shit. Niggas want to get pregnant. We gonna have to do what we can do. So long as we can physically be together and be physically intimate and embrace each other every night, it's us against the world. It ain't us against the world until you physically together. In pictures and move in pictures together, in the bed together, not no dream shit. So it don't really count us against the world until you physically together. Cause then it's not just us against the world. Ain't nobody against you. Y'all not together. It's like, man, whatever. They ain't gonna ever be together. But when y'all get together, it's gonna be, oh no, that us against the world shit. You know what I'm saying? So understand, man. Keep it tight. Keep it right. Keep it tight. This is what's considered clean energy that you intake in your body when you eat. And it keeps your mental clean, as you're within the vow system of the Most High, and these evil spirits can't cross the vow, okay? Because the Most High protects you, because he has a vow, okay? And that's an agreement with Satan. Like, these are your foods that I consider abomination, and these are my foods that are considered clean, all right? And my people eating clean. Anything unlawful I know not of in this food, let it not be held against me, because y'all deceptive as shit. Y'all put shit in people's food. They thinking they eating kosher shit, but you throwing shit in it. Additives and preservatives and shit. Fucking people food up and shit. Spitting in it, doing carnally minded and shit. Maximum carnal minded, doing shit to people's shit. So anything unlawful they know not of, let it not be held against them. Okay? And then the curse comes upon the people who doing the damage and shit, and you stay good. So with that said, shalom, y'all.